Texas Tech just punched its ticket to the national championship game. And if you're BYU, the committee was clear. Winning games doesn't matter. This is Locked On Big 12.
You are Locked On Big 12, your daily podcast on the Big 12 Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
It is Sunday, December 7th, 2025, and college football may be dead. Welcome into Locked On Big 12. I'm Drake Toll from America's #1 Big 12 podcast, Locked On Big 12. Thank you for making this show your first listen every single day. Now, look, it's incredible that Texas Tech got a bye in the college football playoff, but man, I wanted to see a night game in Lubbock in this field. James Madison coming to Lubbock, the ticket revenue, the exposure, people getting to see. Like when the masked rider came out of the tunnel at AT&T on Saturday, it was one of the coolest things ever. And the ESPN announcers were like, look, the masked raider. People don't know. They don't get it. Would have been awesome to see Texas Tech at a home game. I know it's kind of weird to complain that Tech got a top 4 spot and a bye, but the bracket is incredible if you're Texas Tech. Your defense is going to maul Oregon. Your defense is going to hold Indiana scoreless. This is the perfect scenario for Texas Tech. The only thing I think would have been better is that prep game, that warm-up game against James Madison at home. If you look at what that did for the teams last year, those who had bye weeks lost. Like they were 0-4, I think was the official record of the teams that had the bye week. You to me, benefit by having an on-campus game. I wish Texas Tech would have gotten that. If there's anything to complain about, though, it's BYU not getting in. And here's why. I love the amount of Texas Tech fans that have been so good about this. Like the sportsmanship is incredible in this conference. And this comes from Gambling Gauchos of Texas Tech fame. Record, BYU 11-2, Notre Dame 10-2, Miami 10-2. And the committee did just tell us the conference championship games don't matter. They didn't add any bonus points for Texas Tech. They only dropped Ohio State behind Indiana and kept them right there. Bama got blown out. Bama got to stay at 9. So the committee said, don't even play your conference championship game. We don't care. So BYU's record's 11-1. Miami 10-2. Notre Dame 10-2. Like, okay. So the wins don't matter. Let's go past that then. If the wins don't matter and your win total is not a thing, then strength of schedule. Surely that will be, that BYU's number 22 in the country. Notre Dame 44, Miami 45. That's weird. From a resume standpoint, Notre Dame is significantly better than both of those teams from a strength of schedule perspective. Well, I mean, okay, if we're not going to count the wins or strength of schedule, what about strength of record? We love that metric. The SEC wanted strength of record in there last year. Number 9 in America, BYU. Number 13, Notre Dame. Number 14, Miami. And BYU wasn't even on the graphic. Kalani Sitake said it as a joke. He said, man, at least put us on the graphic. And ESPN still wouldn't do it. They didn't even get a spot for consideration, yet they have a bet. It is objective. It is objective. BYU has a better resume than Notre Dame and Miami and deserve to get in over Notre Dame and Miami. 0 bad losses. We're talking about quality losses. We love those quality losses. That's all BYU has. And they have one of them because, again, you just told me conference title games don't matter. They're not a thing. And I get it. BYU got blown out. But I've told you on this show that there have been national championship games that were blowouts. There have been college football playoff semifinal games that were blowouts. Just because you got blown out by an elite team doesn't mean you should be excluded from the college football playoff. You should still have a chance to fight for a national championship game. And what the crazy thing is, I believe wholeheartedly if Texas Tech had lost to BYU, they would have been punished greatly by the playoff committee. This is not necessarily as much about BYU as it is just punishing the Big 12, punishing the ACC. Punishing teams that don't have, schools that don't have those brands, the conferences that don't have those brands. They want to see a surplus of SEC teams in the field. Of course they do. They want to see. They're looking us in the eyes and saying, hey, we want to see a rematch of Alabama and Oklahoma, even though Oklahoma just walked into Tuscaloosa and won the game. Let's just do that again, but we'll do it in Norman. I don't need to see it. I just saw it. but anything new, anything fun, any opportunity for the little guy to compete for a national championship is out the window. I just read you the resumes. I just told you what is happening in college football. I want to commend Joey McGuire and Texas Tech for doing what, honestly, Brett Yormark in the conference didn't. And that's speaking up on behalf of BYU. Where was Brett Yormark 5 weeks ago? Where was the Big 12 5 weeks ago? As weird and silly and just annoying as the ACC tweets were, the ACC has gone on an entire media campaign for the last month to try to get Miami in. They wanted a media campaign to get Duke in. And guess what? It worked. They got Miami in. The Big 12 was radio silence. For a league that prides itself on marketing, how are you not marketing an 11-win team? How are you not trying to fight to get BYU? The Big 12 should be actively spewing that BYU, with a better strength of schedule and a better strength of record and more wins, is being held out in comparison to Notre Dame and Miami. But it's radio silence. You as a conference, when your back is against the wall and the country does not respect you, you have to fight. You can't just roll over. You can't just lay down and say, I'm good. I'm good being a little guy. It's not going to work. It didn't work. But when the ACC, to what I thought could have been its detriment, continued to post and spew and say, hey, let us in, let Miami in, then it worked. It happened. And the Big 12 didn't even try. I will talk at length on tomorrow's show about how just messed up this whole process is, how messed up the committee is, how the whole Notre Dame situation. What are we doing? Miami won the game head-to-head. Miami deserved to be in the college football playoff. Yes. But you do that 3 weeks ago. You do that 2 weeks ago. You don't have the teams sitting on their couches. You don't have the teams sitting at home on a weekend where they did nothing. And then all of a sudden say, well, I can give it to Miami. Whatever. What? Somehow I blame Mack Rhodes, former Baylor athletic director. He did this in a roundabout way. The system is broken. You're telling me BYU is the 12th best team in America. That's what you just told me. You just said BYU is the 12th best team in America. Look. And they're not in a 12-team playoff. You have a 12-team college football playoff. BYU is number 12 in America. Well, surely they're in that playoff. Nope. Because the system's not conducive to success, to wins, to allowing teams that deserve to be in to get in. It's not conducive to that. It's not. I'm happy for Texas Tech. It's weird. Maybe you as Red Raiders fans, and if you're in the comments already, wouldn't you want a home game? I want a home game. And the fact that the teams at the home games last year all seem to be more apt to win the national championship. Ohio State, who won the whole thing, had a home game against Tennessee. You know, like I wanted Texas Tech to have that opportunity. Now they get to play at a neutral site against Oregon, and they'll blitz Oregon. They'll beat the crap out of Oregon. They'll beat Indiana. It's going to be awesome. I love this. It's so good for the Big 12. Like Texas Tech, I cannot wait. I have a month to talk about this, which they don't play for 4 more weeks. Also insanity. A lot of these things are insane. But let me be clear. With all of that, BYU not getting in is a travesty. In college football, this is the message. You just sent the message. It's dead. This has been and always will be. Locked On. Thanks for making it your first listen every single day. Dose Grande.